Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you are all preparing well because time is near and you do not have time to waste any single moment. So, hopefully, you are all preparing well and revising and giving a mock test. Giving mock test at the last moment, it's going to be very helpful for you. So, in today's video, I will discuss the few questions from 2019 to 2024 PYQs of literary criticism. This topic is very important in English literature, that is paper 2. So in this video we will discuss that, okay? Also, do not miss any single day or single time. Do not go and jump to any new topic. Instead, do practice what you have prepared so far now and keep revising. And also, relax your mind. This is the time that you will get panic, but not you do not have to get panic at all, but keep your mind cool, calm and composed, and keep revising whatever you have studied or practiced so far. Okay, so let's start. But before starting, do like, share and subscribe. Do share the channel to more people who are also preparing for their dream to become an assistant professor. With this aim, let's start with the question number 1, that is from PYQs. Okay, so this is the question on your screen, everybody. Question number 1, you have, who among the following refers to high seriousness as a quality of a great poet and quotes John Milton to support this view? Option A, you have T.S. Eliot. Option B, Ezra Pound. Option C, Matthew Arnold. And option D, I.A. Richards. You have to find out that who among these given writers follow refers to high seriousness as a quality of a great poet and quotes John Milton to support this view. What could be the correct answer? Any guesses? If you have practiced the PYQs, you will definitely find out the right answer. Options you have. Okay, so the correct answer of this question is going to be the option C, Matthew Arnold. Why he is called Matthew Arnold? Matthew Arnold, in his work The Study of Poetry, emphasizes high seriousness as a hallmark of great poetry. Citing Milton as an exemplar, this concept underscores the moral and intellectual depth in poetry. That means, do you understand what this quote means? That Matthew Arnold, in his work The Study of Poetry, this is the work, in this work he emphasizes the high seriousness as a hallmark. That means, the great poetry has a hallmark the uh, to the quality of seriousness. That means the poetry should be in a serious note, and if the poetry has a serious note, that would be fall in a great poetry category according to Matthew Arnold in his work The Study of Poetry, and whom he has given the example, John Milton. Okay, next question. Next question you have, all these questions are very important and from PYQs from 2019 to 2024. Okay, so do practice. To get the PDF, join the Telegram channel. I will share this PDF on Telegram. Question number 2, you have, in his theory of mimesis, Plato says that all art is mimetic by nature. Art is an imitation of life. To argue his case, he gives the example of options you have, cloud, option B, chair, option C, tree, and option D, river. In his theory of mimesis, Plato has said that the all art is mimetic by nature. All art is an imitation of life. This is what he quoted. And to argue his case, he gave the example of any of these options. What could be the correct option? Correct answer of this question is option B, chair. Why did he say that? And Plato discussed the concept of mimesis in his dialogue, explaining that a carpenter makes a chair that is the part of imitation, how he imitated, and an artist who paints a chair that is also the imitation. Whose imitation? Carpenter's imitation. And making the art thrice removed from the reality. That when you have imitated once, twice and thrice, so what, there is no reality, there is no real thing left. So everything is based on imitation. You have copied once, one of the person, then the second person copied the third person, then third person copied the fourth one. So this is how it takes place. And according to Plato, the art, he stated that art is merely a mimesis, that means imitation. And he gave the example of a chair. Do not forget, do memorize this. He gave the example of a chair. Okay, this is important. Each question is important in this PDF. Next question you have: the critical concept of a willing suspension of disbelief owes its origin to chapter dash of Biographia Literaria. Option A you have 9, option B you have 14, option C you have 12, and option D you have 15. You have to find out that the critical concept of willing suspension of disbelief owes its origin to which chapter. You have to guess which chapter. Willing suspension of disbelief of Biographia Literaria. Do you know now who is the writer of Biographia Literaria? St. Coleridge. So which chapter? Correct answer of this question is going to be the option B, 14. Which chapter? Chapter 14. Okay. So Samuel Taylor Coleridge introduces the idea of the willing suspension of disbelief in chapter 14, suggesting that readers accept the implausible in literature for the sake of enjoyment. For the sake of enjoyment. This is what St. Coleridge said in the chapter 14. Okay. Next question. Eliot's theory of objective correlative appeared in his essay entitled. You have to find out in which essay Eliot discussed about objective correlative. T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot. In which essay he discussed about objective correlative? He gave the example. Option A, you have three voices of poetry. Option B, tradition and the individual talent. Option C, the metaphysical poets. And option D, Hamlet and his problems. What was the title in which he gave the concept theory of objective correlative? So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option D, Hamlet and his problems. Hamlet and his problems, he gave the theory of objective correlative. Objective correlative, that means one thing, if you want to show your emotion, if the character is presenting emotion through the object, that would be a great touch for the audience will definitely feel related with the emotions of the character if the character is presenting any object. So this is what he said in this essay. And the example he gave was Hamlet, that he told Hamlet a great failure. Why? Because Hamlet failed to present any object with the emotions of the characters. And also one of the Shakespeare's play he gave Macbeth, that Macbeth was a success by presenting objective correlation. That means Macbeth was a success. So do remember, Hamlet was a failure and Macbeth was a success. Next question. Which of the following statements hold true with respect to Alexander Pope's an essay on criticism? Which of the following statements hold true with respect to Alexander Pope's an essay on criticism? Option A, you have it is an inquiry into the nature and value of poetry. Option B, it presents a series of generalization about good taste. Option C, it explores the challenges of impartial and just criticism. And option D, it underlines the traits of the good critic. And option E, it critically reflects on Plato's rejection of poetry. What is the correct answer? Which of the following statement holds true? That means signifying the correct statement about an essay on criticism by Alexander Pope. Of these statements, which statement is true about Alexander Pope's an essay on criticism? Read the question once. If you are not able to understand twice, you will definitely understand thrice to get the meaning of the question, because the level is high. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option B, C and D. B, C and D. It represents a series of generalizations about good taste. It explores the challenges of impartial and just criticism, and also it underlines the traits of the good critic. This is what an essay on criticism by Alexander Pope. These statements are true. Okay. Move on to the next question. Why is that? Pope's An Essay on Criticism offers insights into literary taste and the qualities of a good critic, emphasizing balance, learning, and humility. It doesn't directly engage with Plato's views on poetry. Next question. Do remember that different ages, each writer, theorist, they have put their own opinion about other writers' work. This is what literary criticism I have told you. Who among the following was of the view that poetry was only an imitation of an imitation and therefore trivial? Next option you have option A, Aristotle, option B, Phaedo, option C, Plato, and option D, Xenocrates. What could be the correct answer? The question is, who among these writers was had the view of that poetry was only an imitation of an imitation and therefore trivial? Who according to you thought poetry as an just mere an imitation? So the correct answer of this question is just told you, Plato. Plato thought that poetry is just an art of imitation. That means you are imitating. One writer has imitated, copied to the another writer by writing to write the poetry. So there is nothing significance or important for the person if he has imitated. Nothing is important about the poetry, the work. You have imitated, you have copied, so what could be the special about the poetry? This is what Plato thought. Okay. Plato considered poetry as an imitation of the physical world, which itself is an imitation of the world of forms, thus making poetry an imitation of an imitation and lacking in truth. He also thought now that poetry is not good for society also. Next question. There is options, so can see. So next question, you have arranged the following terms in their chronological sequence of appearance. The which work, which concept, which theory has appeared first. You have to arrange them chronologically. Option A, you have disassociation of sensibility. Option B, unreliable narrator. Option C, theater of cruelty. And option D, egotistical sublime. Arrange them according to their sequence of appearance first. Options you can see A, B, C, D. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option C, D, A, C, B. Option you have D, A, C, B. Yes, D, A, C, B. The option is a C, and option you have to arrange it. This one would be the first. The second you have this, third you have C, and the last one this. DACB. DACB. This is the correct chronological. First you have two, egotistical sublime. Second you have unreliable narrator. Third you have theater of cruelty. And fourth you have disassociation of sensibility. The term egotistical sublime was coined by Keats in the early 19th century, disassociation of sensibility by Eliot in the 1920s, theatre of cruelty by Artaud in 1930s, and unreliable narrator became prominent in literary criticism later in 20th century. Okay. Next question. Next question you have Jeremy Collier's short view of the immorality and profaneness of the English stage 1698 attacked. Option A you have the practice of mixing tragic and comic themes in Shakespeare's plays. Option B the bawdiness of low characters in Shakespeare's plays. Option C the coarseness and ugliness of Restoration theatre. And option D irreligious themes and irrelevant attitudes in the plays of the 17th century. Short view of the immorality and profaneness of English stage attacked by this writer Jeremy Colliers. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option C, the coarseness and ugliness of Restoration theatre. Collier's work was a critique of the moral laxity and indecency he perceived in Restoration comedies, calling for a return to more virtuous theatrical productions. This is what Jeremy Collier said in his work. Next question. Please share this to the more students. And if you're new to the channel, do subscribe and press the bell icon for the latest updates and info about the channel. Next question you have, which of the following lines is not in Pope's An Essay on Criticism? Option A, wretches hang that juryman may dine. Option B, a little learning is a dangerous thing. Option C, fools rush in where angels fear to tread. Option D, the sound must seem an echo to the sense. You have to find not in Pope's An Essay on Criticism. Which of these lines are not present, are not given in this essay by Pope? You have to answer in negative way. Which of these lines, which of these quotes, you can say also. How it feels when while teaching online you have to just remind the students to do subscribe. I'm not liking this actually. It's a thing that if a student is liking the teaching or the method whatever they are studying in English to English only, they will definitely subscribe. I do not need to tell you again and again. It feels awkward. Just keep reminding them, please like, share and subscribe, please like, share and subscribe. How awkward it is. Okay, till from now I will speak less about this. I will try to skip, but yeah, it's been a habit now, so in between once or twice it can happen. So what could be the correct answer, everybody? One most important thing I am telling you again and again, repeatedly I am reminding you, do revise. And revision should be in consistent manner. Doesn't mean that you are revising today and forgetting one after 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, then you are again going to revise. No, that won't help you at all. You have to revise with consistent practice. That will be your success mantra, everybody. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option A, wretches hang that jurymen may dine. This quote is not present in An Essay on Criticism by Pope. Okay. This line is from Alexander Pope's The Rape of the Lock, and that means this line has been given, but in which work? The Rape of the Lock, not an essay on criticism, and the other lines are indeed from essay on criticism. Next question you have, who among the following wrote The Mad Woman in the Attic? The Mad Woman in the Attic. Option A you have Ellen Sholter. Option B Sandra Gilbert and Susan Gilbert. This is one many times I have told you about this. Correct answer of this question is option B Sandra Gilbert and Susan Goober. Next question. Which of the following critics is associated with the term contrapuntal reading? Option A Mikhail Bakhtin, option B Edward Said, option C Roland Barthes, and option D Jacques Derrida. This term related with contrapuntal reading by which critic? Which critic is associated with this term? So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option B, Edward Said. Edward Said introduced the concept of contrapuntal reading in his work Culture and Imperialism, advocating for a reading that considers both the colonial and imperial perspectives. If you are reading, you should have mind of colonial and imperial both. Your consideration should be depend on both, much like the musical technique of counterpoint. Next question. Which of the following is not true about lyrical ballad? Option A, it is a manifesto of romantic poetry. Option B, it turns English poetry away from the social and intellectual sophistication of the 17th and the 18th century poetry. Option C, it was first published in 1798. And option D, it includes an essay titled Preface to Lyrical Ballads in its first edition. Correct answer? Not true about lyrical ballad. Not true. Negative way you have to answer. You know, while answering sometimes questions, we forgot to answer in negative or positive. We actually, it skips from our mind, slips from our mind that what was the question, whether they asked about the negative way or positive way. So do read the question very carefully. Correct answer of this question is going to be the option D. It includes an essay titled Preface to Lyrical Ballads in its first edition. Wrong, this was not included. The preface to Lyrical Ballad was added in the 1800 edition and not in the first edition. Do remember, published in 1798, the preface outlines Wordsworth's poetic principles and is considered a central text of Romantic literary theory. Next question. Which of the following term is used to describe spurious words which are the result of inadvertent errors made by copyists, printers and editors? Which term is used to describe spurious words which are result of inadvertent errors? Option A, dud words. Option B, ghost words. Option C, proto words. And option D, pseudo words. What could be the correct answer? The words that inadvertent errors made by copyists, printers and editors. Which of these words best describe? Have you heard about ghost writing? So if you are copying something, this is called the ghost writing. Correct answer of this question is going to be the ghost word. Ghost words are words that have entered dictionaries or text due to typographical errors or misreadings. Typo, that means you have typing error. typo errors, misreadings despite having no actual usage or meaning. This is what a ghost word mean. Next question, everybody. Which two of the following are works by ia richard? You have to find out the two works of ia richards in the options from option A, concepts of criticism. Option B, science and poetry. Option C, the philosophy of rhetoric. And option D, English literature in our time and the university. You have to guess two work by I.A. Richard. Two work, no? Yes, two of the following works by I.A. Richard. What could be the correct answer? Correct answer of this question is going to be I.A. Richard's two work. Option C and option B, science and poetry and the philosophy of rhetoric. Let's see the correct option. Yeah. Option B and C, science and poetry and the philosophy of rhetoric. Let me tell you, everybody, do read the work of I.A. Richard, Principle of Literary Criticism and Practical Criticism. It's something like that, na? Principle of Literary Criticism and Practical Criticism by I.A. Richards. Very important meaning to meaning text. The sixth sense he gave also. I will bring you everything after exam. We will go step by step. So, I.A. Richard authored both Science and Poetry and the Philosophy of Rhetoric, contributing significantly to the development of literary criticism and the study of semantics. Next question. Which of the following critics is known for advancing reader response theory, emphasizing that meaning is created by the reader's interpretation? We are the readers, we create the meaning by reading the text. Option A, Harold Bloom. Option B, Wolfgang Iser. Option C, Northrop Frye. And option D, Stanley Fish. What could be the correct answer? I have already posted about this. Should I tell you to subscribe if you are new to the channel? Okay, no, I won't. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option B. This is the writer who gave this term. Wolfgang Iser is a prominent figure in reader response criticism, proposing that the meaning of a text emerges through the reader's engagement and interpretation. That means, in new literary criticism, the writers of those age, those particular time, they have suggested that a reader is a creator of the meaning. That means, if you are reading the text closely, you will definitely able to find the meaning of the text instead of going and analyzing what the poetry, by whom this poetry is written, or who is the writer, or what is the background of the writer, and going to the historical part of the text. If you are just reading the text, you will definitely find the meaning. This is what we have studied in new literary criticism. Next question. Next question you have, Harold Bloom's theory of anxiety of influence suggests. This question, 1 star, 2 star, how many stars I should put here? They very important. Option A, you have writers are motivated solely by tradition. Option B, poets feel creatively liberated by their predecessors. Option C, poets struggle with the burden of influence from strong precursors. And option D, the critic's role is to eliminate subjectivity. Harold Bloom's theory of the anxiety of influence suggests. Which of these lines suggested by this term by Harold Bloom? Which of these lines is suggested, quoted in the anxiety of influence by Harold Bloom? Correct answer of this question is going to be the option C. Poets struggle with the burden of influence from strong precursors. In the anxiety of influence, Harold Bloom argues that poets are hindered by the influence of their predecessors, leading to a creative struggle to establish originality. Understand now? Next question. What does the phrase "ut pictura poesis" from Horace Art of Poetry mean? You have to find out what does it mean by Horace Art of Poetry. Option A, as in painting, so in poetry. Option B, poetry beggars pictorial description. Option C, as in poetry, so in painting. And option D, picture above all poetry. Remember, all these questions I have selected from the 2019 to 2024 papers, question papers. It will take too much time to gather all such type of questions. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option A. This one, that means this phrase refers as in painting, so in poetry. From Horace Art of Poetry mean. Horace phrase draws a parallel between the visual and literary art, suggesting that poetry, like painting, should evoke vivid imagery and emotional responses. Next question you have, who distinguished between the literature of knowledge and the literature of power? Option A you have S.T. Coleridge, option B D. Quincy, option C Hazlitt, and option D Lamb. It's Charles Lamb. William Hazlitt and S.T. Coleridge. What could be the correct answer? You have to find out that who of these writers differentiated between the literature of knowledge and the literature of power. Correct answer of this question is option B, D. Quincy. Thomas D. Quincy differentiated between works that convey information and those that move readers emotionally. That is the literature of power, and that convey information is literature of knowledge. This is said by D. Quincy, Thomas D. Quincy. Question number 19, you have the line poetry is a criticism of life occurs in which of these work? Option A, Culture and Anarchy, option B, Modern Painters, option C, The Study of Poetry, and option D, Sartor Resartus. Poetry is a criticism of life. In which of these works this line appear? Poetry is a criticism of life. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option C, The Study of Poetry. Matthew Arnold in The Study of Poetry posits that poetry serves as a reflection and the critique of life, emphasizing its moral and philosophical dimension. Next question. One of the most important themes the speakers debate in Dryden's an essay on dramatic poesy is option A, European and non-European perceptions of reality, option B, English and non-English perception of reality, option C, the relative merits of French and English theatre, and option D, the relative merits of French and English poetry. The correct answer? You have to tell the most important themes of speaker debate in Dryden's an essay on dramatic poesy. Correct answer of this question is going to be the option C, the relative merits of French and English theatre. Dryden's essay presents a dialogue comparing French classical drama's adherence to unities and decorum with English drama's emphasis on variety and emotional impact. Next question. Who wrote the essay My Acquaintance with Poets? Same title appear in PYQs. Oh, this is from PYQs. Why I am putting star here? So the correct answer of this question is I'm expecting that my students who are watching my videos and appreciating even the little bit, I don't mind. But expecting, yeah, hopefully that everybody will must speak English. Correct answer of this question is option D, William Hazlitt. What was the question? My first acquaintance with poets wrote by, the writer is William Hazlitt. Okay, you should speak with full confidence. Next question you have, it's okay. Arrange the following text in chronological order of their publication. Option A, Edmund Spenser's The Fairy Queen. Option B, Coleridge and Wordsworth's Lyrical Ballad. Option C, Pablo Neruda's Canto General. Option D, Charles Baudelaire, The Flowers of Evil. You have to arrange as per their publication, chronological publication. Which work published first? Now try to guess the year. I have told you trick how you can guess the correct answer. If you can find the ages or any year of any of the work, try to arrange them. During the class you must speak. If you are listening now, do listen very carefully. Correct answer of this question is going to be the option second, A, B, D, C. Let's arrange. Second was option A, B, D, C. A. First you have to Fairy Queen. Second you have Coleridge and Wordsworth Romantic Period. And this was the Shakespeare Age Renaissance Elizabethan. D, you have Charles Baudelaire's The Flowers of Evil, and the last one you have Pablo. This is the correct chronology. Next question. The year is written here. The Fairy Queen was published in 1590, Lyrical Ballad 1798, The Flowers of Evil 1857, and the Canto General 1950. Next question, everybody. Who among the following was the view that poetry was only an imitation of an imitation and therefore trivial? This is the repeat question. That means this question has appeared many times. If I have taken these right questions from the PYQs from 2019 to 2024, you can imagine how many times this question has appeared. Same question you have just solved. What could be the correct answer? Read the question very carefully. Same question. There is little bit different, slightly different. Who among the following, these writers you have to find out the view that poetry was only an imitation of an imitation and trivial. Option C, Plato. Next question, everybody. It ought to be the first endeavor of a writer to distinguish nature from custom. This passage considered the death knell of neoclassical criticism is attributed to which of the given writers? Option A, John Dryden. Option B, Alexander Pope. Option C, Samuel Johnson. And option D, Joseph Addison. You have to find out this quote, this passage considered that considered death knell of neoclassical criticism, which of these writer has given, attributed, related. Correct answer of this question is going to be the option C, Samuel Johnson. Samuel Johnson emphasized the importance of discerning inherent truths from societal conventions, challenging the rigid adherence to classical norms in literature. I hope you have liked the session. This is all for today. This much question I have prepared. These were enough to practice and also to analyze how much or which type of question you will face in the exam. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. These are the questions of today that have been taken from the 2019 to 2024 papers. More such questions I will bring. Till then, do practice Keep revising. Revision is must. And also do like, share and subscribe. Till then, take care and bye bye. Thank you so much.